Mandy, good morning, and thanks so much for your time. What are your books actually teaching children?
Our books are teaching children about positivity and to do the right thing. Not because they're going to get into trouble if they don't, but because it's the right thing to do. So we've called ourselves Heroes in My Hood because that's what we're aiming to do, to teach the kids to be heroes.
So how do you do that? I mean, the books are interactive, it says. They're doing this in a fun way. How are they actually utilizing these books? What's in them that teaches them how to do these?
Okay, what's happened is that over the years, Kate and I, Kate is the illustrator and then I do the other little bits and pieces. The two of us have been working in this field for probably 15 or so years, but mainly government type educational materials. And we found that teaching in a positive way is what really gets people. You don't say, don't do something. You say, do it this way. In a fire situation, you don't say, don't run, don't panic. You say, keep calm, walk. So that's what we're doing. In our books, we are looking at the positive way of doing things. And then in our books, we have activities for the children to do. So our first book is about Lucky, the dog, and it's about two children who find this little dog. It's Tundi and Jongi, and they find the dog, and they go with an older child to the animal centre. And along the way, they have little adventures. And on every page of the book, there is a part of the story, and then there's an activity for them to do. And in the activity, they learn something positive. So they're learning, for instance, to fill a water bowl. So in the activity book, they actually fill in the water bowl, and they put it all in order, and they do the colouring in. And then when they see a dog that needs a water, they will realise, wait a second, I've already done that. I know how to do that. And then they can do something positive for that dog. They can help. They can do what the dog needs. So with that's our mantra, is that you're doing something positive, you're teaching the children something positive through the story and through the activities in the book, and then they will translate that into their normal lives.
Mandy, obviously the earlier we teach our kids to do these things, the better. So what age group are you targeting with these books?
We're targeting the age group sort of 6 to 9-year-old, 6 to 10, but it depends on the child. You know, some kids develop way earlier, and a 4-year-old, we've had a 4-year-old just gallop through the book too fabulously, and we've had an 8-year-old who could barely read. So it depends entirely on where the kid comes from, depends on their background as to how well they cope. We don't use too many words. We try and keep our words to a minimum, so the literacy is not too difficult. And then our pictures are lovely, and they teach the kids things, and they have to look and study the pictures and find things that are interesting and funny. And we're also great believers in humour. So we've got naughty things and funny things, and that really also appeals to the kids. And then they remember the lessons, and with the activity, they remember to do the things correctly.
And Mandy, you know, it's so much more difficult being a child now than when we were kids, when life seemed so much simpler. They have so many other lurking dangers, so many other challenges. And we're talking 6 to 9, and yes, social media also affects this group of kids from so early. What are the issues that you highlight for them in terms of being courageous and kind, but also standing up for yourself, even when it comes to standing up against an adult?
You know, very often with children, they're too scared to stand up to an adult. So our second book, which is called The Freestyle Stars, which is the same children plus a couple of extras. We've got Kwezi, who's the star, because she's a star soccer player. We're doing freestyle soccer, which is the soccer trick side of things. So she's the star, and there's a little boy called Billy, and he's having a rough time. And he takes it out on the girls. And we're encouraging the children to tell. If they're in a situation where they're uncomfortable, they feel like people are being mean and nasty to them, they need to tell an adult. And as adults, we need to listen. You know, there's no good telling the kids, tell, yell, you know, if no one's going to listen. So as adults, we need to listen. And we need to hear what these kids are saying so that we can help them. So yes, very often, it's scary for children because adults do say things that they don't really want to hear, but then they must go to an adult that they trust, someone who they know is safe. They must tell, they must talk. The only way we can break the silence of abuse is by talking about it. And unfortunately, the kids have to do that, and it's really tough.
Well,
so in our second book, The Freestyle Stars, we're encouraging kids to talk to one another, to identify their feelings, and to talk to adults.
fantastic. So the
And we
book's,
want the adults to listen
Hero in
and to
Motherhood,
help.
definitely equipping them with those tools to stand up, be courageous, be heroes in their hood. Thank you very much. That's Mandy Lombard. She's one of the founders of publishing company Hero in My Hood.